If we ain't living it, who else gonna show 'em what a family's supposed to look like instead of them broken homes? Gotta be living stones around where they getting stoned. Live to know him, die to make him known till he take us home. Let's go. I wanna go where the wild things are. I wanna go where the wild things are. I wanna go where the wild things are. I'm talking lions, tigers, bears, alright. Lions, tigers, bears, alright. Lions, tigers, bears, alright. You scared? Right side from the terrible heart. That's why I wanna be where the wild things are. If you catch me in a bar where the wild things are, with my past star and the entourage who loves God, please don't think that it's odd. We kick it round broken hearts, fishing for men, surrounded by sin but ain't taking part. I talk about Jesus, all the Christians love me. I walk like Jesus, now they wanna judge me. Ain't it funny?
Okay, as I said, every biological signature is there. These are like tubing. As I showed you, the heart has all these tubes around it. And of course, you have to flex and move around, and that's how they're built, just exactly like that. Of course, this would be coated, as that was at one time. And you can see the black and the red, you've got the vein and the arteries. Everywhere has the same sort of biology. I mean, that's biology. Okay. The truth of the matter is that sandstone is not just sand, it came from nowhere. Sandstone is eroded body parts. This is considered sandstone. I don't think any geologist would say that's not sandstone. However, if you know what to look at as an anatomist, you will understand that is a bone emplacement, more than likely. And that is the central core of that bone emplacement. And this is the tendinous material that glues into that bone emplacement. And then from that tendinous material, it goes into the muscle. The muscle becomes very fibrous and breaks quite easily after a certain distance of time, which is called the abrupt transition. As it demineralizes, it's very tough right here, and it's extremely tough in the tendon. And then, of course, the bone is the bone area. And then the outside is extremely sand, and the inside is a muddy layer of bloody sandy, and then this is the connective tissue. Uluru, and I don't mean to have any disrespect for Uluru. I know it's a tribal, it's sacred, and I don't mean any disrespect. I'm going to call it Ayers Rock because I have a hard time sometimes saying Uluru. Anyway, the people that live there know about it. They understand it. I don't think they. I don't know. I don't know what they know, to be perfectly honest with you. Anymore, I don't know. People have been so indoctrinated to believe things that just aren't even close to true, and now they will defend them to the death. I mean, and this is nothing more than a bunch of blood right in here. This I've shown this in the microscope, and it is what it is. And these structures are all over our Earth. It's not just a Uluru, it's the Grand Canyon, they're everywhere. And the creatures were, if that's the heart of a creature, that's a pretty good sized creature. All right, and I've found all the digestive system and everything over there in Australia. It's very obvious once you know what to look for. So let's just take a quick look at what I have to show you, and then you can go on your own. Okay, my outstanding friends, this is going to be a quickie. That is Uluru, Ayers Rock in Australia, and it is a heart. That is heart muscle tissue. This is a lung. This is also a lung, and everything can deteriorate to a point where you can see the internal fabric to it, which is this is a lung. That is the red blood of the lung. It has deteriorated to a point where all the blood is flushed out of it, similar to this. Mostly all you have left here is the structural component. This still has everything inside, blood and everything. This is a bone. All of this stuff will turn into rock, just like Ayers Rock. This is a goose head turned into rock. This all happened because of the Great Flood. That's a piece of meat turned into a rock. That's a fingertip turned into a rock. And that is the blood that exited the artery I've studied this extremely well. That is a heart, and that is Ayers Rock. And I've looked at the, well, let's take a quick look. Now, there's Ayers Rock. That is not somebody came up there and dug all these little things out of there. This is the biology of heart muscle stripes. Right? It contracts. It actually twists. I'll show you what the actual biology looks like. And I'm going to show you a couple of close-ups of things that look virtually exactly like this. They have holes all through them because they have bled out. That's why everything is so red around here. That's blood. That's blood cells. All right, this is a lung, but a lung is nothing more than attached to a heart, lung together. And they pump the blood through, the lung gets reoxygenated, and it gets pumped through your body and so forth. Right there, I'm going to show you the exact same stuff, the red and the black. The black is vein blood. You see that? That's a vein. Everywhere there's arteries and there's red blood, eventually you use that oxygen and it turns black. Or in mud fossils, in the body it's more of a blue. But I will show you this in a microscope in a second. You can see exact same stuff, identical, no difference whatsoever. Only this is a lung, that's a heart, and this is a little smaller. All right, I got the lung in the microscope. Don't forget, you got the black and the red. That's what you got right there. This is the lung. These little holes are the alveoli, and the black is the deoxygenated blood. This is where it's getting reoxygenated. Simple as that. And the same thing happens in the heart. Well, the heart pumps it. Let me show you something. Let me show you the anatomical. Hold on. All right. A lot of people aren't familiar with this, but the heart is right here. It works in conjunction with your lungs, and then it sends all of the byproducts to your liver, to your spleen, to your kidneys, to your digestive system. All of that stuff migrates around. You see the red? This is the arterial side. You see the blue? This is the side that comes back after it's been, all this stuff's been used up or been processed and cleaned. So that's the way your circulatory system and lymphatic system work. And what happens inside of here? All of these different juices go in there, which are catalysts and enzymes and so forth. The heart is primarily a pump. The lungs transfer oxygen and carbon dioxide primarily. These other organs do all kinds of things and add secretions of all these different lymphatic juices, and they break down molecules. Now, the only way they can do that is by bacteria. The bacteria has to be living in these organs. We don't know what lives in here. We need to find out what lives here. And I mean, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be different because every one of these has a different function and has to create a different product. Simple as that. All right, you've seen the heart muscle. This is what heart muscle is. And they make these little blocks and they constrict. And that's what pumps your blood all day long for 24 hours a day. Or you're dead. Okay, this is basically what you see in the Ayers Rock. And this stuff just dissolves. It's a watery substance. It dissolves in the open environment. All right, now we've seen all the muscle fibers and so forth, but there's attachments. There's little tubings come in here and there, and that's all seen as well. Roger, once again, Mud Fossil University. This was in a video from Brian Forrester, who was in Egypt, and this is a mummy, but it's a mummy inside of a statue. Now, it appears, because I found more of these. See these? These are the ribs. That's where the lung was, and I think the liver is right there. Now, this was coded, and it's all inscribed with all their hieroglyphs and all that stuff. It's one of these regular, gigantic-looking statues that you see, and nobody's really paid that close attention to. But Brian saw this. He says, very strange weathering. Well, that's not strange weathering. That's a body inside of that statue. Now, I just got something from a friend, Bonnie, and this is the beauty of Mud Fossil University. I have more eyes than anybody in the whole world, and they send me things right away when I start asking questions, and they come up with answers. And here's what she sent me. I get these all the time. People say, oh, go look at this one, go look at that one. Now, this is Egypt discover a new Colossus. Now, I saw this 2 years ago or so when it was first discovered. I think it was discovered in 2017. And they dug it up as they were excavating downtown. I think it's in Cairo. No, suburbs of Cairo. What's this guy doing? He's inside the guy's brain. I don't know what they're doing there. They didn't describe what's going on. But I can also see, like, probably they wrap them in something and then they put them in these molds. Because I could see another place on his head that, where I could see. Let me come back to all that. Now, once again, I would be able to tell quite easily if I had access to, like, all of the broken parts, because that's where I can see the anatomy. I can see the blood vessels. Now, this looks like they had wrapped his body and then coated it with a skim of concrete, really. It's almost like concrete. It's granite. It's a slurry that they would coat it with, just like pottery almost, and then they turned into statues. All right, anybody has any idea about mud fossils knows that the red blood is the stuff that leaks and runs. And it runs down from places just like this. There'll be a very serious artery that runs in here that would have been compressed and finally broke. They come right out of the neck and so forth, just where you expect the blood to be. And this is what I'm seeing here. Now, I could be wrong, because I can't see this. I can't get there. But I found other things that show that is also, I'll show you. Now, this is after they put it all back together, all the pieces that they had in a rendition. I don't know. I mean, they didn't actually put it together, I don't think, but they sort of put it together within the computer. But this is what you see running out of where you have your heavy arteries and so forth, which would run down to his arm. Why is this? That looks like his stomach right there. Why is there 2 layers of his stomach? Why is there 2 layers of his face? These are the kind of things that they coated over these. I'm sure this is his original face under there, or somewhere in here. I've seen a number of them. It's not just 1 or 2. All right, this is Ramses II. Now, what I want you to look at is over there. That is his leg cross-section. Now, I see biology. I don't know what you see, but I understand biology. I understand where the tendons run and the muscles and so forth, and what the leg would look like inside, and these bundles here. Now, this, in my estimation, is another coated body. These can be easily looked at. I fully understand the chemistry now, and the biology, and the anatomy. Any anatomist can understand it, and any biologist understands the biology and the anatomy, and any chemist can understand the chemistry. It's not hard to do this. It's just that no PhD that I've found has any full breadth of knowledge. They all have one little piece in there. Oh, no, I don't know anything about that. Don't talk to me about that. And then they just say, no, everybody else says it's not true, so it's got to be not true. Well, they can't think for themselves is my problem. I really feel that way now. You say, what about this? Well, I don't know anything about that. I'm just a guy that does this other thing over here. I just do the left foot. I don't do the right foot. It's really that bad. It's absolutely that bad. You just saw that guy's. That is that tendon. This is the red bloody stuff. That's your flesh and tendons. I mean, your muscles. His face, they tried to fix it up and plaster it back together in 1908 or something like that. And they were, they made it then. No, they didn't. It was just like this, and they tried to fix it back up, did a terrible job. They put some rebar in here and there, and it's just falling apart. And they're all falling apart now, or they're all starting to fall apart. I've been looking at this for years now. This dragon's eye, and I had no clue really too much about it. I just looked at it, and I originally thought it was just a stone tendon ball. However, I do believe it is a dragon's eye. And I got popped with a couple of hits this morning. This came from Christina Kruger, I believe is her name. Christina Kruger, I believe it is. Anyway, she sent me this saying, take a look, see what you think. So let's take a look. I'm sorry, it's Christina Cooper. And this is, look at this very carefully. See this, how squared off that is? How amazingly squared off that is. And I have other shots of this from different perspectives. And a couple of guys just did a video about going in here. Now, look at these layers. You see the size of this thing? You know how many layers there are? There's a bazillion. I think that's a technical term. Okay, it's pretty obvious that this thing is coming down this way, and it's coming out to meet itself in a pinch here, which an eye does, and down here. Now, I don't have the best shots of this thing because I was never really that interested. I thought it was a tendon ball, and they are everywhere. Let me show you what I originally thought it was and why I now realize it is not what I thought it was. All right, you see this? This is what I thought it was originally, that big dragon's eye, but these are just stone balls, and these are tendon balls. They're all over the earth. I mean, just everywhere. And they are serviced by blood, and they erode sometimes, just like that did. And that's another erode. You see the top fall off over there? I mean, they're all over the earth. And everybody's, what are these? We can't figure it out. Well, I figured it out. They're tendon balls. And that's what sometimes they have this, and then they have the chirk around the outside, which you, sometimes they'll take on a color of like copper or something, which is in the area, and they have like a surrounding shell, but nothing like the eyeballs. And then they come in vast quantities here and there. The Moki marbles are unbelievable. There's just bazillions of them, and they're everywhere. They're all over the earth, and every day I see people saying, I wonder what they are. They are tendon balls. These are actually interstitium balls, most of them. These are interstitium balls. When you see them in clay, in red, white, brown, yellow clay, that's skin. It's literally skin. And that was the flesh of the people that they, or whoever it was that it was in. See them in the ball? That's the clay of somebody's body. Some creature's body. I'm not saying somebody. There they are. They're washed up everywhere. I mean, they're literally everywhere because the earth is literally made of them. It's made of creatures. Now, again, that's another one of these balls, but there's nothing like the number of layers in the dragon eyes. Those guys got big balls. Let's see, here's a gigantic big ball. What's this? You see right there? This is the kind of, and they're all over here, see them? Boom, 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 boom. That is filled with sand. Some of them are filled with sand. Some of them are filled with pockets of, they look like they could almost move a little bit against each other and still really, really retain solid. These, I don't know why they filled with sand, but there must have been something internally in there. Let's see, what's this one say? Here's another style. These are the kind that have like structural. I think that might be able to do a little of this and not completely destroy itself. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But it's some kind of a, what's this? Oh, this is Lee Simpson sent me a bunch of stuff. They look at these steps and they think somebody carved it. No, that's the blood supply coming into those little pockets. Here's another one Lee sent me. That's the pockets are inside. They erode sometimes. If there's salts, they do one thing. If there's acids, they do something else. That I don't know what the hell is going on there. Somebody cut that, it looks like to me. A long, long time ago. Now, Lily Lavender sent me this. If you go up and look at Iapetus, the moon, it's identical. Absolutely identical. And even if you look down here, you can see where the cord came in to attach to that. Which all of these tendon balls have a cord. Same thing, that's just like Iapetus too. This is what's inside the Moki marbles. Now, these are a certain type of tendon ball. They call them concretions. They must have been in some kind of, this I believe is a magnetite, or it might have some other metal characteristics to it, but you can see the exact separation. So the internal chemistry was way different. All right, these are in a different type of tissue, but still the same stuff. All right, these are the sewn balls like we just saw a moment ago, and the strap comes right up through here. They're all over the place. This is and the sweat glands. Which you guys don't want, I'll go back and get some more stuff. And what happens is the metals, the colored things, the red, the blue, the green, the yellows, the oranges, all these different colors, and they are extremely brilliant when you see them. Well, let me just show you. Those are the things that move things, and they move them through your heart.
Turning setbacks into bounce backs. Science did that.
They move things, and they move them through your heart. I believe, and it obviously comes running over this way and over this way. We saw all of the different layering of the lens or the cornea or whatever it was, and you can see there's an extreme difference between the types of tissue as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, let's look at a little lower here, down where they are. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this, because you can, and I do too. I could jump over things. Wow, look at that, and I go on. Well, if you take your time, you see things that are quite interesting. You see the texture and the curvature of the tissue here, and then you see this. There's no reason for that to be exactly blocky like that, except that it is part of the blockiness, first of all, of anatomy, but secondly, it is, I believe, one of the muscles that twisted that eye up and down or this way or that way. Now, secondly or thirdly or sixthly or whatever it is, look at this right here. You see that? You see that? You look at this and you think, wow, they're really thin little layers, because there's a bazillion of them. But look at this. They get to be almost paper thin. There's one right after the other. And I find this in my, hold on, I'm going to get some. Okay, I got the mic. Well, I'll give you two. Boop, done, case closed. And here's what they look like. Etched. And you know, there has to be an exact chemistry to make these things happen. But at least you can see the strap and the eyeball. Now, this is a heart, and this was the upper part of the heart, and it was laying down like this. So this was low. That's why the transition metals, which are heavier, settled here more than up above, which is the red platelets, who just sort of lifted them, not lifted up, but they're floated to the surface because these are heavier. Now, you see all these different